Hey everybody, welcome to another fantastic episode of Jeff Has Cool Friends. I'm Jeff May, and if you could believe it or not, I have cool friends. And I have an amazing friend to introduce you to. It's fascinating. I have not looked forward to seeing how the dynamic of a podcast goes more than this specific one, because my very special friend today is Dallas Cowboys tight end / my former student, Sean McKeon. Sean, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. We have not spoken words to each other in 10 years. And the last time that happened, it was a very different dynamic. A lot has changed
No doubt.
since. And I am fascinated to sort of see how your world has progressed, how you have changed since being the eighth grader that I remember, and how we've both changed, I think, in each other's faces.
Oh yeah, changed a lot of change for both of us, I would say.
Right. And
Yeah.
aside from that, how you have guaranteed that I will never be the most famous person from our hometown. So kind of you for that, but that's fine.
You still got a chance. There's still time.
I don't think so. The only way that could happen would be a tragedy, and I don't think either of us want that. Like,
That's true.
Like I don't mind being second place, and it's probably going to be a distant second place, like, which is fair. So yeah, as I said before, you were my student 10 years ago, just a small L guy, and now you are a 23-year-old giant. You are, and this is fun, taller than me.
Yeah.
That's a surprise.
I don't know if I was taller than you back then, but
you
definitely am now.
You absolutely were not taller than me back then. There was one kid. What a fascinating storyline. So you play currently for the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yes. Mm.
All right. Easy question. What is that like?
It's awesome. Honestly, it's kind of been, I started playing football when I was 7. It was really like my dream. It's kind of to play in the NFL, watching the Patriots growing up. And, obviously I was a big football fan, and just living out that dream, it's a blessing, really a dream come true. And I'm just really happy to be here.
When I grew up, I get to say, when I was your age, two things. One, Charlton, Massachusetts was not a football town. And we can there's a route to trace in the history of our hometown and football. And it has to do with another NFL player's dad. Of all things. So we can get into that, but it wasn't the case. There was no Pee Wee football other than what they called the DWC, the Dudley Webster Charlton Indians, and I was too fat to play.
You're over the weight limit.
Did you know that? You could be too fat to play that football, which seems unfair.
It's a little unfair, I would say.
I was like, just let me be a lineman. That's all I was going to be.
Yeah, I think, thankfully, I think they got rid of that league. And they've moved to just grades now, so you can be as fat as you want.
Oh man, you just telling me I could be as fat as I want just felt like 1,000 pounds was lifted off my chest. But I did play football at Shepherd Hill. I was not great, and I hated it, which is real fun. I wasn't motivated to play football. Even I played it just so I could be considered an athlete. Because when
I just wanted the status.
Look, man, I looked like a hard-boiled egg. Did you know that I was very heavy growing up?
No. I mean, you look great now.
Oh,
couldn't really tell.
When I was a child, when I was in 8, I was the biggest kid in my class, pretty much. I looked like a little hard-boiled egg. But I did play football for social survival, because you can be, in my head at the time, it was like you can be either the fat kid or a lineman. And one of those gets a little bit of respect. That was just how it felt at the time.
At least you get to hang out with the other cool kids on the team.
Let me tell you, boy, did you miss the mark on that one, because the linemen were not the cool kids. We were not a football school, and I'm so happy to see that Shepherd Hill Regional High School, which is both of our alma maters, has become this sort of like football factory. And it really comes to the fact that a couple years after I graduated, a new coach came in who was a lineman for the 49ers, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was on a couple different teams. I assume you're talking about Coach Lindstrom.
Coach Lindstrom, whose son was a first-round draft pick for the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming you guys played on the same team?
Oh, yeah. I was Chris was a senior and I was a junior when we made that state championship run. We lost in the semifinals, but
Yeah,
that
well,
was probably our best team
any of
for
the
sure.
teams you lost to end up in the NFL? Any of those players make it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, probably
So
not.
they can right off. They can have their little
Yeah.
championship. You're like, that's fine. I'll just have a career in the NFL where people buy my jersey.
Hopefully.
Is your
Really cool.
does your jersey, is it like a for sale if you go to Cowboy Stadium?
Probably not the stadium. I think they just got like a bunch of Zeke and Dak jerseys, to be honest. But,
Just the two? And like,
yeah, no, probably just like the mega stars there. But you could definitely go online and order my jersey on the store somewhere, NFL.com, Cowboys.com, somewhere.
yeah,
Somewhere on
go. You should all get one, because why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Because you know what? If you're not in Dallas, a Cowboys jersey, people love that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it really stands out.
it's funny too, because I have some questions about that, because we grew up in
Yeah.
New England. So you grew up sort of with the Patriots dynasty, and sort of being drafted by the Cowboys, who are considered America's team, ironically, after
Right.
we sort of went through there. Now, what kind of feeling did you get by sort of ending up in Dallas as sort of where you wound up?
Honestly, I was just happy to be anywhere. I knew if I could like pick my dream locations, honestly, I wanted to be in either Texas or Florida, just because yeah, they have no tax really, no income tax. So that was
Can
I didn't want to go to California. No offense.
Boy, let me
Um,
tell you, let me tell you about taxes, okay? It is the price we pay to live in the country that we do.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I still pay a shitload of taxes, but just not as much as I probably would out
That's
there.
fair.
I know I got some friends I play with at Michigan that are on the Rams out there, and it doesn't look fun.
Are they
Living out
doing
there,
okay?
I think
Are
they're
they
doing all right.
making it? Do they need to go to the food bank?
Yeah. I don't know if they're quite looking for food stamps yet, but
Yeah. I mean,
they're, you know,
I also understand that if you're not like you know, at the top of the heap, that, you know, the money doesn't, it's not exactly like everyone is signing $8 million contracts. I get that. But also I feel like I'm like, it's taxes is taxes, you know.
yeah,
You make
no,
more than
for
four
sure.
of me. So I'm always just kind of like, hey man, I'm also paying taxes. So
Oh, for sure.
but so like that, so Dallas or Florida were your choices, and it was, or excuse me, your preferences, and it was primarily a financial choice, which is, I think, fascinating.
Yeah, a financial and honestly a little bit of weather. You know, I don't want to play in Buffalo for sure.
Yeah,
It's too cold up there.
yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I feel like you can't really talk too much on any other football teams, because there's a very good chance you could play for them, and I certainly don't want somebody unearthing that information, but we know why you don't want to play for Buffalo.
They're a great team,
They
but you know.
see, exactly. They're great. It was a great team.
Yeah, they're a great team, but
Yeah.
a little cold up there.
It is. And plus you know, you grew up in New England playing, and then you moved to Michigan. So maybe a little heat ain't the worst thing to happen to you.
Yeah, I had to mix it up a little bit.
Um,
Yeah, the cold.
is there a feeling when you are, because you went undrafted, and then I guess the term is undrafted free agent, and then the Cowboys just scooped you up real fast.
Yeah.
Is there a feeling among people that you kind of have to shed your hometown loyalty when you enter into either the draft or you're playing professional sports, because the odds of you playing for the team you grew up in are so minimal?
Yeah, probably definitely a little bit. You know, it definitely would have been great to go to the Patriots and play for them. Obviously, I think there comes to a point where you have to be a professional and not a fan anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to drop the fan part.
What would you rather do? Catch a pass from Tom Brady or tackle Tom Brady?
That's a good question. I think if I was on the Patriots, obviously I'd rather catch one.
That's not
I think,
not what
honestly,
I asked.
Yeah, honestly, I'd rather catch one from him.
Yeah. Is that like one of those like sort of things that y'all dream about? Because we didn't really have any like heroes in football growing up. It was like Drew Bledsoe just standing there waiting to get hit. So Was that like some sort of like thing that you sort of fantasized growing up? Like, he catches the Tom Brady football and they win the Super Bowl again.
There are definitely a lot of backyard football games I played, but I don't think I ever fantasized about Tom Brady that much, to be honest. I kind of looked up to Gronk. I wanted to be like him for
Yeah,
sure.
that's fair.
I did like Aaron Hernandez before all the bad stuff came out about
Yeah,
him. But
yeah, real curveball on that stuff. He's
yeah,
he's a quick study in both how to sort of turn your allegiances away. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but he's really fucking good at catching a football. Give him a break.
yeah,
It's like, is that what you
yeah.
think? I also,
mean, he was really good at catching balls. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. You know what else he was good at? Is murder. He's like
Yeah.
super good
Well,
at
he
it.
wasn't good because he got caught. So
Well, he wasn't good at hiding the murder,
right,
but he was really good at committing the murder.
right.
Did you see that documentary about him?
I didn't watch it.
It's tragic in the way that it's a lot of it comes to, I think, internalized homophobia.
That's what I heard. One of the main storylines was.
Yeah.
But,
where it's just, they were just like, yeah, I mean, we, like, him and another dude were like, yeah, we used to have sex. Like, what? And it was, but like, obviously the culture of professional sports is still rooted in homophobia. How do you see the NFL moving? Do you think it's really dragging its feet? And I mean the culture of the NFL, not like the company in talking about, gay players, etc.
yeah, I think it was really cool to see Carl come out a week or two ago, and he got a lot of support online, so that was awesome. I know he had like the #1 jersey sales for a while, and that was cool to see. But I still think percentages show there are definitely more people in the NFL that could be gay, and I feel like most of those guys don't want to say anything just because it'll mess with the locker room culture or stuff like that. So it's kind of a weird situation there.
Yeah, you do hope sort of for the evolution of the locker room culture to shift away from that. And it's funny that there's like, because I grew up in that sort of toxicity of being like, you just could say whatever homophobic slur you wanted to say. Like, it didn't matter because it was just socially accepted, even though it was absolutely hideous. I do look back at sort of my thoughts and then be like, what words are words? And it's embarrassing. And so I do hope that sort of the culture does sort of shift more towards that acceptance, also specifically with fans. And it's kind of one of those things where like you can control what you do, but you can't control fans.
Yeah.
And that
absolutely.
can be, especially for example, if it was in like Dallas, like fans of the Cowboys, and you could see that there is the potential for a state that is much redder than normal to sort of reject that, or to be like, why do you even need to tell us? Because that's what I remember when he came out and everyone's like, what? So, and it's like, it is important. Like, visibility is important and representation, so that young gay football players can feel like they are accepted and comfortable and safe.
Right. And I think it was awesome that he did, a guy who's been in the NFL for a number of years, is a good player, is really good. And him kind of leading the way, I think other players, who don't have as much of a status in the league can feel more comfortable to come out and share what they want to share.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when Lil Nas X came out, because he came out the day he hit #1. And everyone's like, well, why did you wait for this opportunity? Like, why wait? And he's just like, because it would have seemed like I was clout chasing before, and it would have seemed like an afterthought after the fact. But if I can do it when I'm absolutely at the top, you can't deny me. And I thought that was pretty rad. That was a ballsy move, and I love that.
And I think that may have, not saying that's what happened with Michael Sam when he did, but he definitely he obviously wasn't like the best football player, and that kind of caused a lot of backlash with the NFL when he got cut, because he came out already, and people were very upset about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of those distraction cuts that people, it makes everything seem a little bit shady. And I think that that's unfair. If somebody is cut from a talent basis, I think that's a bit unfair to sort of throw that at somebody. And I think the Kaepernick example is obviously one that, showed that there is some sort of, mild collusion sometimes to remove those distractions. But at the same time, businesses are businesses, man. Like it's hard to understand in each direction, like when it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise or something.
Absolutely.
Now, I have a lot of questions about sort of what your life is like, which is a very interesting question I have for you. What I'm going to
Okay.
do real quick is periodically throughout the show, I give a shout out to patrons at the $10 level at patreon.com/Jeff May. For those of you that are producers and have paid me good money to say your name on the air, I'm going to say a couple of names. You can feel free to react however you want, Sean, or you can just watch me read names like an absolute ass, which is fine. It's either way, it's fine. But shout out to Ricky Cilantro at Nerd Numbers, Mackenzie Chill, Willem Dafoe's Baffling Big Bonanza, Dan Hackroyd, Murph the Murph, Show Me in the Rules where it says a dog can't play basketball or football in this case, I guess. There was an Air Bud football one, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think they had one for every sport.
That seemed bad to have to try to tackle a dog.
I think that might be some animal cruelty.
Yeah, there seems to be like, I wouldn't do that with Air Bud. I wouldn't try to tackle a golden retriever. They're very likable.
Oh yeah, I have a golden retriever. Well, my parents do.
Just take it. It's yours now. Russell Richardson, the Sass Bitch Stan, Sophia Hapgood, the Ghost of Dave Thomas, Shebrew Sleeps, Norm from Cheers, Vorta Spin, Normal Man, Andrew McGuire, Jolly Buckaroo, and Dill Havarti. That's my favorite cheese. And again, I have more names to go through later, but beyond that, thank you for those patrons who hook it up at the producer level at patreon.com/Jeff May. Now, that being said, I have so many questions about what your day-to-day life must be like, because you are, by definition, I guess you are a human machine, because you kind of have to be to perform at this certain level. So like, I want to know, what is your life like? Like, when do you wake up? Like, go through a day in the life of you.
Well, so I would say I live two different lives, I would say.
Oh, you're
One
like
is
Batman.
the off season. Yeah, I wish. One is the off season and one is in season, and they're completely different. Off season is awesome, which I'm in right now. I can do, I mean, really, you can do whatever you want. You have no obligations, but obviously you have to work out every day and
Yeah, I was gonna say that
train hard.
that could collapse real fast if you're like, I can do anything I want, and they're like, and you're cut.
Yeah. But so yeah, I mean, I'll start with the off season, I guess. It's like right now, getting ready for training camp. Probably wake up around like 7:30 every day. Go to the facility, work out for a couple hours.
Is that what by working out? Is it like lifting? Is it like what specifically kind of working out?
Yeah, so I mean, every day is different. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are the big lift days right now. So that's when do all the benching, squatting, stuff like that, normal lifts, and a little bit of running there sometimes. But Tuesday and Thursday right now are big conditioning days for me. Running routes, stuff like that. Like yesterday, I was running routes with Dak and doing conditioning. Today was just auxiliary lift day, so getting all the small stuff that you don't really focus on all the time. Yeah, I mean, after that, try to get a good meal in, good protein shake. Got a massage today. I try to do at least one massage every week, just to keep the muscles loose and not getting tight on me. And after that, man, I mean, I can really do whatever. I usually just play video games or chill by the pool or something.
Yeah. So it seems to me, so it's like you're up. Do you eat before you work out, or because I can't. I've tried a million times. I puke my guts out. If I have anything that isn't water in my stomach, I'll go for a run. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to die right there. So
I try to eat a yogurt, something light, just to have something in the stomach so I don't like have zero energy during my lift.
That's fair.
But I'm not a big breakfast guy before either.
No. What kind of, so what did you have for, let's do lunch today? Because I want to know like what your diet is like what your protein intake is. And not so much, I'm not looking for tips so much as just I'm fascinated by what it must be like to have to treat your body in such a way. I mean, granted, I know it's the off season, but still.
Yeah. So I have a whole I have a whole list of like supplements and vitamins I take, and the Cowboys are great because they have all the stuff there. Our trainers, our nutritionists are awesome. So like we have like a nutrition bar in our weight room. So literally after a lift, one of our nutritionists, his name is Claire. She's awesome. She makes me like a personal protein shake, which for me is strawberry, banana, and peanut butter. A lot of calories, whey protein, creatine in there. And then I try to drink. It's like a green juice. It's got like one of those cold pressed
Yeah.
green juice.
It's got the
things.
ginger in it.
Yeah, all the veggies, all the kale,
Stuff
like that.
Once the ginger goes in, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't like the ginger.
Ginger it hijacks a juice where you're just like, here, you're gonna taste ginger for the rest of the day. It's the same way. It's the same reason I don't put bananas in protein shakes, because it just everything tastes like banana to me, and I don't like that flavor.
That's true. I try to get one of those in because I don't cook that much, so if I don't like drink that, I won't get all the veggies I need.
Spoken like a true 23-year-old man.
Yeah, so I try to drink one of those every day. I've been taking these nitrate shots, which is kind of new. It's kind of like beet juice. It's supposed to be good for cardio and stuff like that. So I'm trying that out this off season.
Beet shots.
Yeah, beet shots.
I've been putting a whole ass beet into my protein shakes when I make them, because I do a pea protein. So I do a vegan protein with peanut butter, frozen berries, and a beet and water. And let me tell you, it might be doing something. Maybe
I kind of like it. It doesn't taste great, but I think it's healthy for sure.
Well, it's 100% healthy. Yeah, no, all that. I mean, yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's healthy. See, we're in two different parts of our lives here, where you're still in the growth. Like, you're entering my favorite 4 years of life. 23 to 27 was like the pocket. I'm in decay. I'm about to turn 40. So it's one of those situations where I'm just like, well, I need to eat this because I could die. I could die anytime. I could just be.
I don't think you're gonna die.
If
you don't eat beets.
You don't know.
I mean, I don't.
I'm going to tell you something. Since I've started eating beets, I haven't died.
Yeah.
Whether there's causation or not, there's certainly correlation.
Yeah.
So we could go through that. Okay. So generally, it's you consume a lot of liquids as your sort of diet. So the follow-up question is, how many times a day do you? Let me check my notes. How many times a day do you?
A lot, actually. Like at least twice.
Honestly.
At least twice, sometimes 3.
I've been on a cleansing diet lately, and it's been like it's been a lot.
It's always in the morning, and then the rest we'll just see where the day goes.
Sometimes I have to delay my run by like 45 minutes because I'm just like, well, I can't run like 6 miles and then 3 miles in it's be like, and you got to shit. So I just kind of have to be like, all right, man, let's see what we can do to get this stuff out of here. Let's clean the old pipes.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever think we'd be having this conversation?
No, I did not see this going this way.
I'm not Mr. May anymore, baby.
I do. One thing I remember from your class, I don't know if you want to talk about this yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. There's no rules here.
I was trying to think back on like what I remembered from your class. I do remember you always having a bunch of comic books around, and then as you can see.
It's a non-video podcast for people listening, but behind me there is walls and walls of trade paperbacks, including some of the ones that were in my classroom.
Mm-hmm. And then I remember one day, I don't know why, but you were explaining like why sports teams have their mascots or something like that, like every city.
Oh, geography, yeah. We're doing geography.
Geography and what the mascots were. So I don't know why I remember that, probably because I like sports.
Yeah, I would say that it might be because you are a professional athlete now, so that might have been in there. It's funny, I'm glad I retired when I did. I was 30 when I retired, and I'm glad, I gave 9 years to teaching, but I always think about like, man, I think I'd be a really good teacher right now. I don't think I was a bad teacher. I think I was pretty good at the time, but there's some perspective that I would probably change.
Yeah, not doing. Would you do middle school again, or?
Of course, yeah.
High school?
I preferred middle school, especially because when I started teaching, I had just turned 22, and I think high school, that's not enough of an age gap for me to fully have been comfortable around, like, because there's going to be some 18-year-olds and I'm 22. That's too close. How do you
Yeah.
get people to sort of respect you as an authority figure when, you were in high school when they were in 8th grade and they remember you?
Mm. Yeah,
Funny
that's a good point.
funny story though, on the first day of my 8th grade teaching, one of my very good friend's little sisters I had, and they came in and they were like, "Hey Jeff," and they were like, "And this is why we called you in," because we had to like sort of brief all these kids that I already knew and to establish the truth as to like what's going on. Like it's
Yeah.
Mr. May now. It was
Yeah,
wild.
that does sound a little kind of weird.
It was weird. I also a couple of things about my early career, and then this isn't about me, it's about you. But I said within the first week of teaching.
Big no.
It slipped out. It slipped out. I got my job on a Monday, and on Friday, somebody was like, "Oh, I have a pass," and I was like, "Give it to me." Wait, do I sign it? I didn't know what to do, and so I was just like, "F it, just go." And the class just went like, and I was like, "All right, look, if you want to get me fired, by all means, let's tell everybody what I just did, or we can just forgive that I made a mistake." So that happened. Literally, my 4th day of teaching, I dropped an F-bomb. And
Yeah,
so
I feel like that's number one on the list of do nots for teaching.
it's I'd say number 2, because the number 1 is pretty brutal. Number 1 is gross, so we don't talk about that one. But number 2.
Okay.
But actually, I had to move because Charlton Middle School, where I taught, was basically my backyard. It used to be my grandfather's property, so like I was teaching where I used to stack wood as a kid. My address was well known, and 2 young ladies came by to like visit when I was still living at my mom's place, and so I immediately was like, well, now I got to move. And so had to move almost immediately because I was like, and I think my mom invited them in like an idiot. Like, I love my mom, but she didn't understand the situation of being like, "Mom, you can't have 2 young female students just in the house."
Did you hate like seeing students outside of school? Is that like your biggest fear?
No, I didn't, for 2 reasons. One, because I was pretty awesome. But 2, like, they rarely came up to me.
I'm probably scared.
It would mostly be that they would tell me they saw me after they saw me. Like the next day, they'd be like, "Mr. May, I saw you at the Millbury mall or whatever," and I'd be like, "Okay, was I good?" Like, I don't know what.
How'd I look?
Like, what are you're reporting on me? Like, are you hunting me down? And that was always weird. You get treated like a celebrity when you're a teacher, because like you're not paid well, but there's always people like, spying on you, and that part's
sounds like
wild.
A dream job. Yeah, sounds like a dream job.
I mean, look, I never minded it because like I didn't get into teaching because I like didn't like kids. So I was like, yeah, if you see me, you can come say hi. It's not like I'm not famous, so it's not like you're really bothering me.
Right.
But at the same time, I had gone to Warp Tour that summer and saw kids there. And then I was like, okay, that's my last Warp Tour. Like, there were certain things that I was like, I don't think I can really I can't be in certain spots that the kids are going to be at because, behavior is shifted and different and you don't want to mess that up, I guess.
Yeah. Got to protect the image or the brand, I guess.
Kinda.
Brand.
Yeah. I decorated my classroom. That was very much like my classroom was decorated like a dorm room. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
But that was important to me because I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't think 8th grade teachers respected 8th graders as smart as they were. And so I thought that the other teachers, some of the other teachers, not all of them, and a lot of people that I really, really love, they were very like careful to be very like, to make sure that there was nothing remotely controversial or nothing that's showing their personality too much. And I was like, well, I think that kind of removes that you're a person. So yeah. I put my comic book stuff up there and my like Red Sox stuff and, music stuff because I'm like, oh, and here's a map, but also I like this band and I'm putting this poster up. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
It's just a thing. I don't know. Like, do you get recognized when you're out?
I mean, I did a little bit when I played in Michigan just because, I was the starter there, a
Yeah.
little bigger profile. But no, not here at
Th-
all, really.
does that? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't care. I would rather people not recognize me, to be honest,
Yeah.
unless I need something, and then I might say like, "Oh, I play for the Cowboys. Can you do this?"
Yeah. Are you willing to flex that muscle? Yeah.
If I have to, like, I had like, it's fine. I had to use it last week because I needed new contacts before camp because mine were kind of old, and I needed to go see the eye doctor, but she was like booked up for until we were leaving before camp. So I was like, oh, like I really need to come in. Like I have camp in a couple of weeks. She's like, oh, like you playing the Cowboys? I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, let me see what I can do. And then she booked me in. So
Yeah. Yeah. I have a feeling that some accountant got pushed back because,
yeah,
but I mean, I would say that the DFW area is like ferocious Cowboys fans, right? Like there's
oh yeah.
no, could you imagine wearing a Washington shirt out
No,
there?
I mean, literally, like I live near the facility, and literally just like the entire town is kind of based like around our facility. It's just all cowboy stuff. It's crazy.
So your anonymity though is definitely in a situation or a position to be sort of sacrificed because you're so close and surrounded in that. Would you feel like, do you have a house or an apartment?
I'm in an apartment.
Okay. If you felt comfortable enough to sort of buy a house, would you buy a house closer to the facility or would you want to be further away in order to sort of
Uh,
maintain that sort of seclusion?
no, I mean, I would definitely want to be close. I don't really like commuting or anything. Not that I would care that much, but it's just nice being, oh, I got to work out at 6 a.m. I can wake up at 5:30 and make it there. So it's just nice being close. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I need to be anonymous. Like it's nice, I don't want to sign autographs all the time, but it's not the worst thing in the world if someone comes up to me and recognizes me.
How many times has that happened since you've been with the Cowboys?
Not many with the Cowboys. That was more of a college thing. Like I would go to the mall or out to eat on campus, and then there would always be people, that would recognize me there, but not as much here. So it's been nice down here.
That's going to be pretty nerve wracking, I'd say, to be sort of that kind of a celebrity at that age where you are a very localized celebrity, but in a very big way, like a starter on Michigan in Michigan. Is there a lot of ass thrown at you? And like, how do you handle something like that? Because I feel like I feel like they would like teach you classes about how to deal with something like that.
You'd think, but they definitely don't. It's kind of weird on campus in the bars, especially like after games. You go out to the bar and stuff, and most of the teams in there, so everyone is kind of just like looking at you guys and stuff like that. So I mean, it definitely makes it easier to talk to girls. It's
Yeah.
like a free icebreaker, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think the general existence of being that is one hell of an icebreaker. But I mean, because I know that they do when rookies sort of come in. I saw HBO original series Ballers. I know how it is. But did they do like courses on like financial literacy or like more like symposiums, I'd say, than courses? Did they do one about sort of like social behavior?
Yeah, so I mean, they definitely do. There's like this whole when you come in as a rookie, you kind of get there for OTAs, which was a couple months ago, and like the rookies this year, it was kind of weird for us last year because it was all virtual. We didn't even do
Oh
OTAs or
yeah.
anything like that. But we definitely still had like Zoom meetings for like an hour or two every day, and there was always a different topic. There was like one day it'd be like investing, the other day would be like don't get domestic abuse, here's how to avoid it, stuff like that. Like going over, like we had a class on like telling us like tactics that girls use online and stuff like that to kind of get at us learning about that stuff. But I'm glad they said it because I would have no idea.
Oh, so what were some of those tactics that they were?
Just like I remember, it was like our head of player personnel was leading them. He always bring in like experts and stuff like that. But so we have like player safety guy and player personnel guy that was talking about it, and he was saying like there's blogs online that these girls like go on and talk about like professional athletes with each other and stuff like that. They talked a lot about de-escalating situations, like say you meet a girl, hook up with her, and then everything starts going south. Like, kind of told us how to handle that. Whether they start asking for like money or saying like they're gonna call the police or something like that. Basically, we just have to immediately call our director of player security, and he'll help us out and just make sure we document everything so that they can't, falsely accuse us of anything.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
that seems to me like, obviously it's, it's something that I would have never thought about as being terrifying until it sort of comes into existence. I think you are in a relationship, correct?
Yeah.
So that sort of at least removes that sort of headache
Right.
away from you and that aspect
Right.
of it, that you get to stay squeaky clean.
Oh yeah.
Did they side question? Here's one. Are you going to get a gun?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've thought about it. I actually did take, before I left Massachusetts, I took like a gun, just like safety class, just kind of learn how to shoot, how to handle one, just in case. And then my parents ended up getting their gun licenses recently. But I definitely think about it for sure down here, just because I feel like everyone has one down here.
I mean, it seems to me like I remember watching something about athletes and saying that when you are a person in the public eye, especially one that makes a certain amount of money, that there is sort of always this target on your back, which is why so many athletes get busted with illegal weapons. Which is kind of, I'm like, I don't know, why don't you just get a legal weapon?
They definitely could and should.
Yeah. And in Dallas, technically, that's like literally anything.
Yes.
You could have like a burning
much.
tire on a chain and people would be like, that is legal. We are in Texas.
Right.
We're going to read another group of producers. Thank you very much. Patreon.com/Jeff May, my producer level. We have Kimball, just Kimball. Get vaccinated, you chuckleheads. The 5G lets you see sound and then you can see your friend again. Let's go. Sean, are you vaccinated?
I am.
Smart guy. You should let everybody know that. In Texas, do they ridicule you for that?
I think we were ranked 31 or 30 out of all the NFL teams for.
What does that mean?
Least.
Is that good? Bad? I can't.
Bad. Yeah,
okay.
we have the least amount in the NFL.
Guys.
Yeah, but I think I heard some guys talking about getting it today, actually. So we might be going up.
Tell them to get it. Just please, be like, guys, you are smarter than this. Like, yeah. What are you doing? Like, it attacks your fucking lungs, man.
I know.
And you have to use those for sports.
A lot. Yeah.
And money. Blackagar Boltagon, Big Booty Boy, 42069. Russell from Jersey, Pizza, Bagels, Taylor Ham, Bold and Brash, Meth J. That's me, but a little bit. Hi, I'm Super Fudge, and welcome to Fudgemania. Craft beers make my alcoholism look like a neat hobby. Jazz Butt, the Ian McClendon. L, the best podcast guest no one wants on their show. Seldo, Connor, no nickname given. Benson, Caitlin, Benny, the Bollock, Nathan, Christopher, Charles, Ascani Sung, Dayspring, Summers, an action figure of Clippy, Don Ass, and C2E2AM Adventures. So that's another
people paying you to say those names.
Huh? Some of them, it's very nice. It's very nice that they do that because, and this is very important, I need the money. So
right. You gotta buy stuff.
I have to buy items. It's mostly food. It's mostly food and living. Those are two things that I have to pay a lot of money for. Because I live in California. Things are expensive. Mm-hmm. But that being said, you never told me about what your day is like during the season.
Correct. During the season, it's a work day. It's a grind. Usually, I think we probably started meetings every day at like 7 a.m., but I think 2 times a week we would have a lift before, so that would be at 6. We'd basically do meetings if we had a lift, we'd lift, and then we'd do meetings from like 7 to, I don't know, like 11-ish, maybe. Usually have practice around 12 for 2.5 hours. Then after that, eat, more meetings until we're usually done around 6. Then we can go home.
You can go home and pass right the hell out.
Yeah, pretty much.
That seems like a situation where, like, during the season, it seems like such a grind, and I'm not sure if people really understand that.
It's really taxing. Yeah, it is a big grind. Like, I would just come home, and then I mean, when you come home, you still got to do stuff. Yeah, I had to watch film on who we were playing, eat, play a couple of video games, and then go to bed early.
Now, are you actually eating food, or is this a are you eating solid food, or is this more
Oh
like
yeah,
protein drinks and things like that?
yeah. I mean, I try to eat 4 meals a day. I do 2 dinners, so I'll do dinner at the facility, and then when I come home, I'll either make or order something. I usually order something, to be honest.
Yeah. I noticed that you have, I believe, is that a Cane's cup that you have there?
Yeah, that was my lunch
What's it?
or after my massage.
Okay,
Yeah.
what was that lunch? I'm just wondering because I saw what's in the
Uh
cup.
oh, that's just fruit punch.
It's
I see.
are
Yeah.
you gonna get in trouble for drinking that?
Nah, I'll be okay.
All that sugar?
Yeah. I mean, I burn a lot of sugar off, so as long as I
That's
don't
fair.
eat it at night, it's fine.
That's fair.
But
So what'd you get at
I
Cane's?
good old caniac combo. So 6 chicken tenders, fries, cane sauce.
Man, to be 23, if I even looked at that, my body would be like, this isn't going to be good for us. It is
It's good
wild.
for me. It tastes delicious.
Oh, of course it does. I remember being, like it's funny because like I was the kind of college athlete that nobody really respected because I was a fighter. I was a boxer. And that wasn't at a time when like fighting was looked at particularly great. So like the boxing team at my college, we were like nobody. But it was like the amount of work was so intense. And that was just in college. And I think
Right.
about going pro and like what these poor bastards have to do when they go pro.
Hey, yeah. I mean, are you gonna watch the McGregor fight this weekend?
I
I know it's
don't
not boxing, but
see
similar.
UFC because of how I was taught to view fighting. I'm actually not that invested in the UFC. And Conor McGregor is, how do I put this nicely? Scum. He's a scumbag. He's I don't like him as a person in the same way that
Okay.
I don't like Floyd Mayweather. I
Mhm.
respect Floyd Mayweather as a fighter, but I don't think he's a person that I want anything good for. And Conor McGregor is kind of the same way. Like Conor McGregor is clearly racist, and he's Irish. You can't swing a dead cat in Ireland without hitting someone racist. I understand that, but sort of like I don't participate necessarily in the exaltation of that, while still understanding. Oh, he's good, right? He's pretty good. It's
Yeah, he's a
fun
good fighter.
story. Fun story about that. Harkening back to our middle school days, is that your old gym teacher and my old coworker, Mr. Kevin Foley, grew up with Dana White.
I
So
didn't know that.
our old the old gym teacher in Charlton, Massachusetts grew up, and they used to like when they would be in town, they would go out and see him and visit him and stuff. So your old gym teacher used to hang out with Dana White when he was home.
It's pretty cool.
Isn't that wild?
That is a kind of. I never would have guessed that in a million years if you asked me to. But
Yeah, he was awesome. Mr. Foley was awesome.
oh, I don't even. Yeah, I don't remember much about him, but I do know he was awesome.
Yeah, it is funny to see like what we remember about school going back in time and what we don't. And my thing is that I remember every awful thing that I said when I was a kid, which is a weird thing to like carry with you. But anytime I said
Mm.
something mean spirited or like hurtful, or I saw that I had hurt someone's feelings, I still carry that.
Well, at least you learned from it, possibly.
Yes. No, well, I mean, I've become a lot more sort of, I would definitely say I've become a lot more progressive in my views and understanding that we grew up in an all white community, and it's hard to see the perspective of people that are not white when you're just not there. So to move to a place like Los Angeles where I get to meet a lot of people from different backgrounds, I think it really did change my perception and be like, oh, I was wrong about a lot of things, or misinformed, or speaking without information. So not just misinformed, but uninformed. And I'll see a lot of people like on Facebook and they'll be like, yeah, but you said this to my friend or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, and I deeply regret that. And I'm really sorry about that. And, I would apologize a million times over for it. Like I'm not somebody that's precious about the things I did in the past.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's funny you bring that up. I think kind of going to Michigan from Massachusetts was like that for me. Just meeting all my teammates. who are from all over the country, Florida, New Jersey, California, Michigan, Ohio. So just kind of being with them and learning about their experiences and how they grew up and stuff like that definitely gave me a new perspective on things for sure.
Was Michigan the first time you had a black teammate?
No, I did have two black teammates at Shepherd Hill.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
what growth from when I played
Yeah.
football at Shepherd Hill High School. That is a
Yeah.
8 million% increase in the number of non-white players in there. Yeah, it is really wild, this sort of insulation of a small town where we come from, and then to sort of move to big cities respectively, and to see just how different the world is, and how you're like, oh, I see some huge problems with how some people think back home. And a lot of it is because they've lived 20, 30, 40, 50 years of their life without sort of interacting in any significant way with a person of color.
Right.
And I think travel is sort of travel and moving and stuff like that. I think it really is a good inoculation against sort of racist thought.
Absolutely.
What's a day like on game day?
Game day, it's it's really nothing crazy, to be honest. I guess it depends when the game is or where it is. If it's a home game, we always stay in the team hotel, even for home games. Kind of wake up, say it's, I don't know, 1 o'clock, which would be a 12 o'clock game here. I can't eat breakfast really.
Yeah.
So I'll have, I don't know, maybe scrambled eggs, maybe a yogurt. That's about it. And really, we just drive to the stadium about 3 hours before the game. Kind of listen to music in my locker, chill out, mostly stretching.
What do you listen to?
I listen to, on game day, a lot of Travis Scott. I like him. Kind of just sometimes just whatever is like out at the time. I don't know. I don't have like a set playlist per se.
Just
kind of just whatever I'm into at the time.
What's happening now, right?
Yeah, just what's happening now. And we kind of do like our own warm up on the field before. So I'll go out like say an hour before, like we do our official team warm up, and stretch on my own, do my own little warm up, catch some passes, stuff like that. And then come back in, get all the gear on, pad up, and get ready to roll.
God, that's kind of. Is it intimidating to be in sort of on like hallowed ground?
It definitely was like to start. You go in the locker room and they have like all the pictures of all the greats before you on the walls. And there's like so many of them, legends. Can't even name them all.
Right.
There's been so many for the Cowboys, and really just trying to live up to that standard is definitely a little nerve-wracking at first.
Have you met Jerry Jones?
Oh yeah.
Like had a conversation with him?
Not a long one.
No. But what's that like? Because I mean, I would say he's one of the most famous non-sports playing sports figures in America.
Oh yeah. And he comes to a lot of practices, and I'd see him on the sideline watching, and whenever he was out there, I'd definitely give a little extra effort if I was ever in making a play or something. But it's just kind of crazy. I remember, it's a funny story. We I think it was our last OTA practice this spring, and we just finished up. I was catching some jugs after practice with the other tight ends on the jug machine. And
you can't just say that phrase to me and then expect me to understand what the hell catching jugs means.
So like the machine that shoots footballs at you.
Yes.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Like a pitching machine, but with footballs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Machine. We call it jug machine.
I guess I gathered that.
Yeah. But and then so these like officials like came on the practice field and like, all right, you guys have to move off. Jerry's landing his helicopter here, and all I see is his helicopter flying in a couple minutes later, and he just lands on the turf field and gets out, and whatever, just no one even cares. It just like it happens normally.
That is wild to me that you're all just like, all right, well, this is just what happens here.
Yeah. And then I went inside, showered, and as I was walking out, I saw him get back in, and he left. He was there for like 30 minutes.
Just a quick old helicopter trip over for a 30-minute gathering, and then
Yeah,
takes off. Imagine having $9 billion.
I can't.
Like what? I
I
can't
don't.
even imagine. So now, do you have a financial planner?
Yeah.
You do. Okay.
Yeah.
And how implicitly do you listen to them?
Yeah, he is awesome because he does all my budgeting for me, so
It's smart.
I don't overspend anything.
Yeah.
Which is probably the most helpful thing.
What's the biggest extravagance that you've bought?
My truck.
Yeah.
My truck, and then I bought that as I was going out there last year, like right after I got signed, and then this summer I added a bunch of upgrades to it, so I kind of tricked it out.
Did you pay it off right away? Like, do you have payments on that truck, or do you just like, I bought this truck, it's my truck immediately, I own it outright?
It's not completely paid off, but I definitely paid a lot of it off.
Okay.
Like right away. So
I was always wondering about that, where it's just like, man, I wouldn't have the attention span to make payments on that if I had the life that you have to have being so busy. So
I just got auto payments every month.
Oh yeah, that's easy enough. Auto payments for your auto. That's perfect.
Yep. It is.
I do think that sort of like that financial literacy is so important for young people in your position too, because you are poised to make a lot of money. And obviously in the NFL, that is not a guarantee.
Right.
So in order to have somebody there to sort of protect your interests long term, like have you made any investments?
Yeah. So yeah, my financial advisor does all my investing for me too, and I kind of let him handle most of it. I definitely keep an eye on it just to see what he's putting in, and he always tells me what he's putting it in every time.
It's all Dogecoin.
Yeah, it's
you're like, I lost $80,000 on Dogecoin.
No, I didn't get into the crypto yet. I've kind of stayed away from that for now, but I have a little Bitcoin, but that's about it.
I bought a little, like a tiny amount of Bitcoin, and for me it's like a slot machine, and I'm just watching it move, and I'm just like, it's like a game. Yeah, I put $300 in and I just watch it happen.
But a lot of my friends were big on the Dogecoin when that was blowing up. Yeah.
I spent $50 on Dogecoin before it blew up, and even after it sort of like has done the crash, I'm still up like 400%.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a meal.
Nothing crazy, but yeah.
but it is definitely one of those things where you're like, oh, all right, okay. I am gonna read a couple more names. Patreon. I get a lot of people that like me. What do you want me to say?
Good for you.
It is good for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shout out to Exploding Runes, JK, Jeff May's biggest fan. The Eating Batman, formerly known as Fashisless Jones. Way to go. Fashisless Jones, way to add that one in there. We got there. David Knifeboot Hinson, Funky J, Saint Gutfree, Instagrams at Bob_of_skull. That's an excellent use of that money, and I suggest it every time. Just plug your Instagram, everyone. Mike Gouts, Grumblebee, Cronenberger, Nolan Meteen, Miguel Acuna, These 7Bs, Lemming Malloy, Kool-Aid Molotov, Superman Family number 184, Chairface Chippendale, The Swordfish soundtrack. Oh, hell yeah. Did you ever see Swordfish?
Nope.
Let me tell you. In the early 2000s, Hugh Jackman, high off of the Wolverine hog, got a job playing a hacker in a John Travolta movie where Halle Berry shows her tits for the first time. That was like the whole thing. That was like everybody lost their mind over that. And that movie is the most ridiculous thing. And it's so much fun.
It's just you describing it sounds pretty ridiculous.
I have now moved into the fact that movies that are just absolutely wild are what I want now. Like, I appreciate a good movie, but like a movie that's just absolutely fucking insane.
So basically all the Fast and Furious ones.
You know what's cool? I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie.
Wow.
I've been like waiting, like, should I binge them for like an article or a podcast? Like, there's got to be something to do. Like, that is a monetizable thing.
I'd say Fast and Furious, like 1 through 5 are actually good films. Like, so, or maybe 5 starts to get a little iffy.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it's just like, what's the craziest thing we can make them drive in?
Yeah.
Where can Dom save his family at in space or underwater, or I don't know.
That's what I want. That is exactly what I want. When like
Yeah.
I saw there were rumors where they're like they could mix up with the Jurassic Park franchise. I'm like, do it. Do it. That's
Yeah,
all I
it's
want.
crazy.
I'm the law, martial law, and I hate superheroes. Lemming Malloy, Billy, no last name available. I don't care if it's women's deodorant. It works better and smells nicer. That is true, by the way.
Interesting.
Women's deodorant smells. It's a delight. They have like green tea scents and shit like that. Oh, instead we have stuff like Mountain Man. What kind of deodorant do you use?
Old Spice.
Yeah? Which kind? What do you
Yeah.
use? Swagger?
No, I don't know what I have right now. I got the Captain right now, I think.
There it is.
That's all the same.
They're all, it's so silly.
It's all the same.
It's so wild. Bart Fartigan, Jennifer Fendelander, the most well-prepared dead guy. I didn't kill my wife. Adrian, Kelly Stanaway, Silius Ruby, Steven, Dr. DNA, Burrito Mouth, twitch.tv/Firechild460. Do you use Twitch?
I don't stream.
No?
I mean, I've watched streamers on there. When I was in college, if I was bored in class, I'd watch people on there.
Bored in class. I'm going to actually talk to you about the education that you received, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Lisa Harden, my co-producer on Mint on Card, back September 10th. Huey Freeman, Taurus Bulba, Mind Freak 555, Cody currently suing Billy over name theft, Beck at Gavin_not with 2 T's, Jessica Robertson, Captain Fat Strong, Gregarious Gregorio, the AV Foundry, Domo Arigato, Andro Roboto, Lef, and of course, Grayman of the Fireside Chronicles. Those are all producers at patreon.com/Jeff May. If you want to get in on that, feel free to help yourself out. You also get early and uncensored access to episodes, as well as a little sneak peek at my next show coming. And then if not, if you just want to listen to this for free, you're welcome to do that too. I'm not going to judge you for not giving me money. I am. Now, that being said, did you like what kind of classes did you take? Like, is the stereotype true about like I took ballroom dancing and I took, business math for beginners my senior year? Like, was it kind of designed? I mean, clearly you didn't need to, you play in the NFL. So your job was completed, your goal. Did you was it kind of an easier academic existence because you had to protect sort of your time?
So I will say it's easy if you want it to be easy. And there definitely were a lot of my teammates that wanted it to be easy.
Did you what's your degree?
So I went to the School of Business, and I actually didn't get my degree yet.
You didn't?
I'm very close.
Really?
So what happened is it's going to be a business administration degree.
Mm-hmm.
When I finished my senior year in Michigan, obviously I was planning on going to train for the combine and stuff like that. So I would have to miss my last semester. And in that semester, I was going to do them all online or whatever. But in that semester, there's my capstone class, which you can only do there in person during that winter semester. So I kind of got a little screwed. I wasn't able to do that. But I'm going to go back and get it soon.
How do you do that then? Because obviously there's a huge conflict.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to go like after the season's over and just train up there while I finish the class.
You said it's winter class, so I mean.
Yeah, so like I think they start at the end of January, beginning of February at Michigan.
Okay, so as long as you guys, what a weird thing to have to plan around is, are we going to make the Super Bowl? Which I guess is like, because if we make the Super Bowl, I can't do the class because that's in February, right?
Yeah, probably not, but I'd see if I could work something out.
Yeah, there seems to be like some kind of space where you'd be like, hey, I'm going to miss the first class because I am playing in the Super Bowl. And then they'll be like, that's not a real excuse. And then you have to be like, look, there's me on the Super Bowl. There's me in the Super Bowl. And they're like, fine.
Yeah, so I'll have to figure that out. But I only have a couple. I think I have like 6 credits I need.
Do you have, like, I mean, because obviously as a kid, you've always wanted football and you chased that dream and you got it, which is wild and must have taken a lot of work to do. do you have plans for after football? Like, what do you want to do when you're
Not
my
like, like
age? What do you want to do?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't have solid plans. I was really into marketing actually at Michigan. I took a lot of marketing classes.
Mhm.
So I think that would be my field of choice. Obviously I'm going to have to get a job after football, but so definitely, something in the business world, hopefully in marketing. And honestly, I don't know. I'll just try a bunch of jobs out and see what I like.
Would you be one of those like owns a a car wash in Tallahassee kind of guys, or are you?
I don't think so. I think a suburban dad type of
Yeah,
guy works in an office or something.
really. That's
Yeah.
good. Could you imagine like just because I mean, for me alone, I mean, obviously, I've leaned out a lot more lately, but like I'm about 6'4", and I was a pretty big guy, and people used to comment it on it all the time. You're six
Mm.
five, and you're what, 255 pounds?
Yeah, yeah.
How many times do people tell you how big you are in public?
Good amount. They
Yeah.
always ask like if I play basketball or football or something. Usually basketball first, and I say no, and then they say, "Oh, you must play football." And I'm like, "Yeah."
You're like, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. Yeah, usually I don't. I don't usually want to tell like people that I play for the Cowboys right away, just because I don't want to really talk about it if I don't have to.
Yeah, you want to keep it down on the down low.
Yeah.
I same for me, but for the opposite reason. Because the amount of fanfare that would get with you saying I play for the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas is the exact reciprocal response of me telling people, "Oh, I'm a professional podcaster." I don't think there's a more embarrassing social sentence to say out loud, in spite of the fact that I pay my bills doing this. But boy,
I mean,
is that a sentence that I have to tell people. And they're
it's
like,
definitely, yeah. I don't know if I'd want to say that out loud either.
they're like, "Oh, so you're in you're in stand up, you're in comedy." I'm like, "Well, I actually make most of my money in podcasting, so I'd say I'm a professional podcaster, and I understand why you're leaving now." So yeah, it is
Mm.
definitely that opposite reason why I don't advertise my job to people.
You
Uh,
don't want everyone to check out your podcast that you meet.
wouldn't I mean it would be nice if people did that.
Yeah.
I've recently leaned into the fact that I'm most likely going to be a cult content creator,
Mm.
where I don't think I'm ever going to get massive mainstream approval, but
Hmm.
I have a very, very small but very, very dedicated fan base. And I'm okay
Got to
with
keep
that.
your customers happy, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sort of like that's happened by just me being very honest about who I am, which I have sort of tried to do my whole life. And
That's good.
I found a spot for it. Um,
Nice.
so you said you do a lot of like when you come back and you just play video games and around when you're not working out.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much because I live down here by myself. I hang out with my buddies on the team too whenever they're doing stuff. Like I live in an apartment complex that a bunch of rookies live in because we kind of get. I think Jerry Jones owns this apartment complex, so he gives us a good deal to live here.
Really? What's your rent?
It's 1,600, but it's for a 2 bedroom.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
So there's probably like 4 or 5 other dudes that came in last year with me that live here. So I'll go hang out at their place, or they'll come over here or whatever.
You guys all
Um,
band together so you can't get hazed.
yeah.
Got to protect
Like,
yourself from hazing.
but we have a nice pool outside. It's freaking hot as shit out right now though, so trying to avoid going outside.
Was like 100.
It's been in the 90s every day, but it's actually really humid where I live in Texas, believe it or not. Because I live in like the northeast part, so it's not like down south like by Mexico. So it's
Yeah.
like with humidity, it's usually around 100 every day.
Yeah, I stayed in Arlington when I moved out to LA. So
Mm.
when I retired and drove out here, I like had friends dotted across the country that I crashed at, and I stayed at Arlington I think on Labor Day. I spent in Arlington, Texas. A lot of fireworks going on. I'm like, on Labor Day, and they were like, we like things that explode. I don't know what you
Yeah.
want. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's like I live in the valley. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's kind of a big deal, but it's like living under a heat lamp. So like I
Yeah.
went for a run today and it was like maybe 11 a.m. and it was already like 96 degrees and just baking me.
Yeah, like I've tried to play golf this summer, and you literally have to go at 6 a.m. because by 10:30 it's 95, and I already sweat through my whole golf shirt.
That I've recently leaned into wearing just short. I'm like I'll just do shorts. I was like never a shorts guy, and I'm just like I'm gonna do shorts now at this point. I'm wearing a
Have to.
sleeveless shirt as we're talking. I'm sleeveless and I have bare knees in here. When I run shirtless and just cover myself in sunblock because I overheat. It's a real nightmare.
Sounds like a big process for you.
It's a whole ass man. Let me tell
Yeah.
you, like because of like in my 20s and most of my 30s, I had kind of had this like light amount of bulk like with a lot of the workouts that I was doing. Like I used to hit the heavy bag holding 15-pound dumbbells in my hand for 2 minutes at a time.
Okay.
Terrifying workouts. Like
Yeah, that sounds tough.
it was. I developed a very interesting style of fighting, which is just to try to fight and not get killed, which pretty standard, but I took a lot of shots too. And now I've worked more towards like sort of leaning out and removing a lot of that bulk and creating like this like kind of tight, dense athletic muscle as opposed to the bulk. And let me tell you, it's been weird.
Weird how so.
People think I'm like they ask me if I'm like sick. So, like they'll just be like, "What's going on? How come you're not as big as you were before?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I've just been trying to be healthier. I'm creeping.
Yeah.
I'm creeping up to 40.
Mm.
My knees aren't what they are. I sprain my ankle every 9 weeks. I'll go on a run. It's just I have the ankles of a blue jay. Like if I step slightly wrong, it goes through there. What do you do to prevent injury?"
Yeah, so like I talked about earlier, I get a lot of massages, and I think that definitely helps. You know, the old TB12 pliability he always
There it
talks
is.
about, and so I think that's a big part. Honestly, just stretching before, stretching after you work out, very important. And then cold tub always helps. I hate going in there, but I have to.
Those are a
Uh,
nightmare.
yeah, they really you just gotta suffer for 2 minutes and then you go numb and it's fine. And I can just sit in there I usually sit in there for like 10, 12 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Just shriveling up your nuts in a freezing cold.
That's the worst part is the toes and
Yeah,
and
I could see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad. You just gotta get used to it.
Have you ever thought about doing like alternative exercising, or are you guys on a strict thing like doing I know what was the guy? It was like one of the greatest receivers of all time, and he was like a big ballet guy for the Steelers. And you could
Uh,
see it in his receptions, and you could see him like be this super graceful
hmm.
dude. Have you ever thought about doing stuff like that, like alternate style of exercising?
Yeah, so actually I've done a little boxing training. I
Really?
think you like that. A little bit, not a lot. Just I think it helps with footwork conditioning and gets my shoulders going too. So I like doing that.
Yeah.
We do yoga during the season, so I guess that helps. No, I like doing yoga.
It's
It's
great.
good for flexibility and stuff like that.
I've done a lot of
Um,
like yoga and Pilates and stuff like that. Like I found that it definitely sort of there's parts of your body that you didn't know you weren't working
yeah,
until you do that, and you're
absolutely.
like, oh,
But I think that's about it for alternative exercises. I'd say. Yeah.
yeah. And I always wondered about that, like where there is in such a masculine field that like where is the space to sort of check the ego at the door, I guess, and do what's best for the career versus what's best for the image.
Yeah, I would say a lot of guys. I'd say a lot of guys on my team anyway. They don't have the biggest egos. I think everyone's just kind of worried about their body and keeping it as healthy and as strong as possible. So they really will do whatever it takes.
Something that I noticed, you shared this on your social media recently, but there is something going on the TV soon. on the anything
Uh,
happening on the HBO?
Little Hard Knocks.
So you guys are in Hard Knocks this year.
Yep, yep.
Are you excited for that, or is it a distraction for you?
I'm excited. I don't think it'll be a distraction. It's I kind of did something like now I keep bringing up Michigan, but we did
No,
an
that's
all or
part of
nothing
your life.
series.
This is about your
Yeah,
life, so that's
we
kind
did
of
an
the
all
point.
or nothing series at Michigan on Amazon one year. That was my sophomore year, I think.
Really?
And yeah, it was weird. They pick like certain guys to follow around and stuff, and they didn't follow me because I was only a sophomore. I didn't really play that much. But just like these dudes were following guys back to their dorms and houses and stuff, and like there was just camera crews like always following us. And like some guys, love the attention, like are always trying to be in the camera. I kind of don't really care if I was in it or not. So I don't think Hard Knocks will really distract me that much. I'm just trying to make the team and not get cut. So
Now, judging from the series in which you have been with them, they stuck with you. They when they signed you undrafted, they immediately kept you in order to keep you off waivers. Is that right?
mhm,
So that seems like they see a lot of potential in you. So,
I hope so.
well, they wouldn't have done that if they didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so I was I guess what they call like a preferred undrafted guy, like someone they want to grab like right away. So that definitely was good for me. And then making the team as the fourth tight end was pretty awesome not to go on practice squad. It ended up working out because, I never pray for someone to get hurt, but
but
it's
you're
it's
ready.
always sucks. Yeah, it always sucks when someone gets hurt. But our starter got hurt last year, so I got to play a little bit, and I think that definitely helped me stick around for sure.
Well, you do special teams as well, correct?
Yes.
So what do you do in that situation?
So I started on kickoff return pretty much since like the second game of the season last year, and then I was started on punt towards the end of the year, and did a little punt return too, and
Really?
field goal. I was on field goal.
So is that sort of like when you're in a position like that, is that sort of like the farm is like special teams almost like the farm team of offense and defense where they're like they're putting you in, you are a regular player and they're sort of looking to find ways to utilize you more by keeping you on the roster and active?
Sort of.
Well, I
I
mean,
would
I want to
say
know. I want to know about
for
that.
some guys, it's definitely like that. Where they're younger guys, they just got in, they're not ready to start yet, but they're still crazy athletic, so they start on special teams and they do well. But there actually are guys that just make a living playing special teams, like guys that only play special teams. Like Matthew Slater on the Patriots, who's always an All Pro and special teams every year, and dudes can make a good living. Just they're gonna make like not a huge contract, but $1 million per year is still pretty nice
Yeah,
just
that's
to play
good.
special
That
teams.
is a good. That's not what I make, but it's close. It's close. Just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple of zeros off.
It's usually like linebackers and corners and sometimes safeties that are not starting, and then they kind of just get really good at special teams, and then they just go team to team playing special teams.
Special team specialists.
Yes.
Is that not the direction that you want to go?
No.
You're like, no, I want to be your tight end.
No, but tight ends have to play special teams. Usually, I think for most teams they kind of take the starter off all special teams, but second string, third string tight end, they're on field goal, they're on kick return mostly, and sometimes punt, sometimes kick return. It's whatever you're really good at.
So for those listeners that are not sports people, because spoiler alert, that's the majority of my fan base is not sports people. So explain to me the difference between a tight end and what would be like a wide receiver.
Yeah, so tight end, we're kind of like a hybrid, I would say. We're like we can be a receiver at times, run routes, catch passes, and then other times we have to block 300-pound defensive ends.
How's that
So
feel?
it's tough. It's tough. But I remember trying to block DeMarcus Lawrence in practice for the first time, and that was not an easy task.
It's just a man made of boulders.
Yes.
I mean, is the competition level at that point such that like people say terrible things to you on the field? Like even when they are your teammates?
Yeah, when I played in games, people would definitely talk to me a lot. There's a lot of talk going on.
Did you go back in kind? Yeah.
You know, I don't really say much on the field. It's kind of just a waste of energy for me. You know, I'm trying to put all my energy into playing good. I don't really give a shit. Like, if you're talking to me, like, it doesn't really affect me.
So you really are a worker.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't have room to f around. Like,
it's a gritty dude. I do remember there's this one linebacker on the Cardinals that was talking shit to me. That kind of pissed me off, though. But I think I might have said something to him, but that's about it.
How'd that game end?
Oh, they kicked our ass.
Did they? See, that sucks though. Like that's the salt in the wound. Yeah. Next time you guys play them, you should push that guy's dick in the dirt.
I'm gonna try to,
and just really let him know.
Yeah, I know it's there's actually a lot of talk in division games whenever we play the Eagles and Giants, of course, and Redskins. Yeah. I'd say the Eagles most last year.
You mean the Washington football team?
Yes, apologies. The football team.
Yeah. It's crazy that name stuck around for so long, by the way.
I don't know what they were thinking when they were like, yeah, we'll just go a season without having a name.
It's better than what they had.
Yeah.
It is wild to me that they were just like, what if we name our team, you ready for this? The Redskins. And everyone's like, what year do you think this is? It's wild to me.
It's definitely wild. But yeah, I'd say the Eagles with Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, they talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could be like, hey, I grew up a New England fan. I loved beating the Christ out of you all the time. And then they're like, we won the last Super Bowl we played you guys. And you're like, yeah, but now I'm on the Cowboys, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
I know that you could never really talk trash about another team. So I'm not going to ask you situations like that. I don't want to back you into a corner of, you're like, the Titans. And then you get traded to the Titans. And then this stupid podcast gets you in trouble. I don't want that. So what I'll say is if the Cowboys decided to trade you or let you go, are there 3 like dream teams that you would want to play for?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that too much, but I would say, I don't know. I would say like any team that has a chance to win a Super Bowl, which obviously changes every year. So I guess the Buccaneers, like this year, the Chiefs, like playing for them and just having the chance to win a Super Bowl would be, obviously a dream of mine to go and win. Hopefully we can do it here at the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, that's been chasing that. The Cowboys have been chasing that. They were the team of the 90s.
Right.
And can you guys sort of build back together to sort of rebuild that level of a dynasty? And I'm guessing that's what Hard Knocks is going to feature, I think, as like a beeline here.
Oh yeah. And we look really good.
I mean,
say that right now. We look really good.
Like the thing is that the Dallas Cowboys have always been a team that's not been afraid to spend and build a team. A very sort of like, forgive the illusion, but like the Yankees of football, everyone's buying Cowboys gear.
Or the Dodgers.
Fair enough. I guess I don't necessarily see Dodgers gear elsewhere. Whereas I see Yankees gear literally everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I see a lot of Yankee gear out here. I also see a lot of Red Sox stuff out here.
Red Sox are good this year.
Isn't it wild? Now that you have to be far away from them? That's wild.
I've watched some of their games. I think the COVID year was kind of a fluke last year. They were really bad, but they really picked it up this year.
I got to see them win the World Series. In Los Angeles in person.
Oh yeah.
You can imagine the luck that falls into the fact that, and dude, the tickets were so cheap. I think I got 2 tickets on StubHub and I paid maybe $500 total or $500 plus fees for 2 tickets to
the World Series. That's not terrible.
To a deciding World Series game. And the reason I found out why is because Los Angeles knew they weren't going to win, so all the ticket holders were like, this. So the prices went from like $1,000 a ticket down to $250 in like a matter of 2 hours.
That's dope.
It was pretty cool. Also, one time I was at a Cubs Dodgers NLCS game, and This guy was shaking beer because they won. They beat the Cubs. And I was there with a friend who was a Cubs fan. And we got into this argument with a guy, because he was getting beer on us because he was an asshole. And he whipped the beer at us and missed and hit a baby.
It's a bad look.
I mean, it is, but it's also the funniest thing that's literally ever happened in my life. Just a guy trying to throw a beer at me, missing, and then hitting a baby.
Yeah, that's I'm guessing he got escorted out of the stadium for that.
Oh, he and the dad got into a fight.
Oh, nice.
It was the end of the game, so they're like,
who won? The dad or?
I didn't stick around to see that. Are you kidding me? It's Dodger Stadium. I'm like, I'm not going to see who gets stabbed in this situation. I'm going to get the out of here.
Fair.
I don't know if you've heard anything about Dodger fans, but they don't like it when you like the other team.
Honestly, I don't know much about LA, or I've been to California once, and that was for our game last year against the Rams. So
that must have been terrible.
No, it was awesome because their new stadium was sick, but we lost. So
yeah, well, I guess good for LA.
The SoFi Stadium,
it's really pretty nice. I saw my friends did a concert there, and it was pretty rad. And like it was a pretty great spot to go to.
Their Jumbotron is a full circle. Like I've never seen something like that.
Yeah, it was wild. It was also a real pain in the ass to walk around backstage. Like it was almost confusing because the place is so big. But that being said, you guys have Cowboy Stadium is massive, right?
Oh yeah, our stadium's sick too.
Yeah, I mean
we used to have the biggest Jumbotron. I'm not sure if it's still true. I think it might. I don't know if it's the biggest. I think the Rams might have like the most surface area now because it's like inside and outside with the circle.
Yeah.
But ours it's like kind of weird because when you punt, the ball like it almost hits the Jumbotron like every time. Like our punter has to go like to the left or right of it so he doesn't hit it. That
is wild to me that they can just do that and then be like, and we'll fuck up the game.
Yeah.
That's cool, right?
It was crazy to me. I also think they can just kick the ball abnormally high, but
isn't that wild?
I don't know how they do that.
I mean, I guess there's a reason that great punters are so rare and do so well.
Yeah.
Now that being said, I know I gotta let you go soon, and I'm creeping up in there. So training camp, when's that start?
So we are flying out the 20th, and we're going to Oxnard, and we're gonna be there for like 3 weeks, I think.
Oh, okay. So you'll be nearby. I'll be in Massachusetts until August 3rd. But that being said, you will be busy. Totally understand that. But that being said, what a fascinating thing. I mean, Hard Knocks is going to be, Hard Knocks is going to be, I'm assuming is it the Sunday? When do they put that? It like coincides with the weeks of training camp. I know that.
Yeah, I don't think it airs until a little after we start, because we're the first team to start this year because we're playing in the Hall of Fame game. Mm-hmm. So we started like a week before everyone else. And then I don't think it airs until like into August.
Yeah. But so that being said, everybody, you can check out Hard Knocks on HBO. You can see if you can see my man, Sean. Sean, if we want to follow you, we go to, I believe on Instagram, it's McKeon _Sean.
Yes.
At McKeon, it's McKeon _Sean. And on Twitter, it is
same thing.
The same damn thing.
Very
it's
easy.
a different way to check that out. Anything we should be on the lookout for other than just watching your games and buying your jerseys?
No, that's about it. You can check me out on special teams and hopefully catch some passes this year.
I want to see that. I want to see that so bad.
Me too.
I think you're going to bring me back to watching football because I kind of took a time out from it for various reasons. I don't know if you remember the don't beat anybody class that you had to take, but there were reasons that I pulled away. But maybe I'll be watching some Cowboys games. Start going to a Cowboys bar.
Might as well. It's definitely entertaining.
There's a bar for every team out here. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's wild. Sean, thank you so much for joining me. It was such a blast. I was so excited to be able to have this conversation with you.
It was fun, honestly. I had a lot of fun.
It's weird, right?
A little weird.
It's weird, but that's okay.
That's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man. When I was your age, I was teaching. It's fine. We're all adults now. Follow Sean, Sean at McKeon _Sean. Sean. And of course, root for the Dallas Cowboys. Why not?
America's team.
Oh, yeah, they're America's team. What are you, not American? For those of you that are listening on Patreon, thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you do. And if you are listening for free, thank you so much. And don't forget to check out patreon.com/JeffMay if you want early and unfettered, uncensored access to episodes, as well as you can check out the new stuff that I have in. I do posts. I'll do some writing here and there. And then I got a new podcast that I'm working on, and it's going to be coming out in the fall. So, Sean, thanks again, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. And thank you all for listening. Appreciate you all. Hey everyone, our artwork is created by Justin T. Brown, who can be found at Artness by Justin Brown on Instagram, as well as artnessbyjustinbrown.com. That dope music you heard is by Troy Nababon, available at Troy Nababon on Instagram, as well as at troynababon.com. Nababon is spelled Nababon.